I'm back to blah blah. Take it.
What was this meeting?
The longer sort of it was something to come in and May and give us an audit report. Going pretty much.
I never got any information on the roads.
So that was part of the meeting too, was the email. I'm gonna work with DVB, whatever his name is.
Stevie G, that's
I have his email. He works with me before to get my email on, so I'm gonna go through and, okay, yeah, and then just go through everybody and make sure that
Maybe he'll get better about it.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I already went through an administrative.
This one, that's right. So I don't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I looked at it, I was talking about. Yeah. You can go back. And. What's this? Oh, my God.
That's right. Data.
7 hours. The artist prediction in the dorm.
That's pardon my reading. Oh, yeah.
Letter from the state rep. Here that electronic is the 27th. Nope, I don't have it with me. All right, you just go ahead. It's on her website. You get a computer on. I think it's. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. But I'm great now.
Contact with me. How to do that.
Someone didn't tell me. I ain't
Well, yeah.
What's up?
Interviewed him, but I don't know. You didn't put in.
I always. I go in the back.
Yeah, I wasn't. You could have told me that you were.
Okay. I sent that contact. to me.
Very good.
That in mind.
All right, we gotta start working on stuff for this.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what we're.
That email is supposed to be forwarded to you.
Mine is now after.
To the new one?
I get to,
Yeah.
and it goes to my.
Like, I'm not. Like, no.
So we got it. 6:59.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm still gonna work with people. This week here, all of council has, I gave this out, that's the dates for some of the events. we're gonna hold. If you have any questions or if you think some of the dates will work, feel free to reach out, but once you can get
I
it.
know you have to register on her
We'll
website
like post it officially, then I'll.
if you want to do anything electronic.
That's the company that we hired, like.
There's Springfield.
But, yeah. I only did it last year, that's why I had to get over, but. Or you more welcome to do it if you want. Yeah, it's in, what is it, Maple Park, I think it was. Yeah. It was the big inflatable with the screen, they just,
Yeah. No, you were there. That's right. Last summer, it was in Jacobs. Yes, it was there. Mr. Stubbs, your family was all there. I thought you were there with, yeah, your family was all there.
Yeah, I made a quick glance. You want to try and have it and miss it?
No.
We can. We're gonna call to order. There is so much, and I'm like.
Yeah, 7:01.
I don't want to.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
And to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wow.
We have a roll call.
Council Vice President Clark Dickerson,
Present.
Councilor Douglas Speaker,
Here.
Councilor Beth Ann Johnson,
Present.
Councilor Michelle Miller,
Here.
Council President Jonathan Miller,
Here.
Councilor Michelle Roberts,
Present.
Councilor Walter Stubbs,
Yeah.
Mayor.
Present. Getting it. Council met this evening in an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel issues. We do not have any presentations tonight. We'll go right into public comment on agenda items. It is not on your agenda, but we are going to have public comment. Mr. Lee? Can we start the timer, please?
Michael Lake, 143, West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, United States of America. Good night, everyone. I believe it's time that we should all start showing respect for one another. There's too much vitriol in this nation from at the very top level down there, and that nation, that capital of ours, Washington DC, all down to the local level. So all I'm asking for is that one, we all want to be respected. So let's show each other the respect we want to be shown. An example, if a member of council speaking, wait for the mayor, wait until he or she is finished before rebutting. And for the general public, If you don't like what the speaker is saying, if your name's up on the board, wait until they're done, and you can come up here and rebut the speaker. If you're not on there tonight, you can do it next week. It's time to lay aside the vitriol and start practicing the golden rule. After all, we want to be respected. So let's show respect to other people the way we want to be treated. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. I think is that Mr. Hilliard? Yeah.
God, holy crap, that 114, president, members of council, just two things. On that, traffic calming, I just had a thought, do you think it'd be worthwhile to consider doing a traffic count, like a month after construction is finished, to see what's really gonna be going over there, rather than throwing an estimate, you know, with. I'm talking about Field Lane mostly. That's number one, I'm looking for an answer. Number two, on the, dog leash, I think it should be included in there as far as people taking their baggies with them and taking them home, and don't throw them on the lawn, don't throw them in the gutter, don't throw them on the streets. And, I had one guy who said, I don't have one with me. I said, you got your hand with you, pal. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna leave that in my lawn, but I just want to. Thank you.
Jackie, go ahead. Mr. Heffernan.
Bill Hefner, 571 South Old Milltown Road, Media, PA. I have several businesses here in Morton and properties. I have a question on the amazing goats or whatever they're called. After they do their eating, what's going to happen with the poison ivy and everything that they're supposed to eat the leaves on? How are we going to maintain the fields and everything? Because all the goats are going to do is defoliate the vegetation. They're not going to eliminate it. Is there any plan in place to continue the elimination of the poison ivy and the other bad plants?
You're looking at me, I'm looking at you. Aren't we under the understanding that they're pulling them up by the roots?
Yeah, that's correct, is that
The ivies, at least?
everything is gonna be down to the root system. Once the goats are complete, and say it quietly, that there is herbicides and pesticides that can be sprayed. However, you know, instead of just spraying it throughout the entire ground cover, that could be limited to the areas where the poison ivy and poison sumac is present. It's basically a vine that's got some hair on it that goes up the tree. They're gonna cut that vine off at about 6 feet. And then we'll be able to identify the areas and just be able to do a little small roundup area to make sure that's completely eradicated.
Okay, because from what I've read about goats, they do a good job. But if you really want to go after the roots, you also need pigs, believe it or not. They'll dig in the ground and get the roots to kill the plant. So I was just curious how, you know, if there's preventative maintenance after the goats leave is what we're going to do. And you mentioned using glyphosate or Roundup or something like that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I hope we don't use anything to spray. That's part of the whole thing because the sprays kill bees and pollinators and things like that. So we'll find out more. Let's see if we can find out something more in the next 2 weeks, just to have for everybody's curiosity.
We'll bring it out in 2 months to see what's coming back.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our committee reports, starting with public facilities and infrastructure. Councilor Bethany.
Thank you. So the first and second will be our building code official report and the engineer's report. I'm going to refer over to Mr. Catania. Thank you.
Thank you. Under the building code official report for the month of March, 8 building permits were received, 7 were issued. Use and occupancy certificates, 1 was received and 1 was issued, and 2 contractors licenses were issued. Under the engineer's report, everything is basically covered on the rest of the agenda. The only thing I want to mention is that 200 Yale Avenue, the PCIU warehouse project. we'll have to consider award, or I'm sorry, consider approval of a public improvement escrow. $154,089.50. We can do that next month.
Yeah, have their attorney contact me because they're gonna need to do a financial security. Who's their attorney?
I don't know, I'm dealing with their design engineer, so
Okay, who's,
I'll find out.
okay.
That's all I have, thank you.
So that have to go through your inspection or services, is that the permits?
The public improvement escrow is basically security that they complete the stormwater management, the curb and sidewalk. And once they complete it, then they'll ask for a release of those funds. It's just basic security that they properly completed the improvements on the project.
So permitting is extra.
Permitting is extra, right?
All right, next would be the 2024 Borough Program for Morton Rutledge, with the contract was awarded, and Mr. Stower, can you give a little more information on that?
No, I'm sorry, that's the road program, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, council took action last month to award the program to Innovative Construction Solutions. So right now, we're just waiting on that same action to be taken, if it has already been taken by Rutledge. And at that point in time, Catania can begin the process of officially awarding the contract and getting started. I think we're hopeful that this job will get started at the end of April, beginning of May, no later.
Rutledge Borough, has that on their agenda for Monday evening
Okay.
to award the contract.
All right, next, would be the ARPA, PA Small Water and Sewer, the high priority reduction project, preparing contract documents. Do we have any more information regarding that?
I'll defer to Catania so they can give us an update on where they plan on starting.
Thank you.
Our intention is to have those bid documents ready, probably in the next 2 weeks. We'll do a bid opening in May, with the anticipated award at the June council.
Thank you very much. Last. Would be the signal issues, Woodland Avenue and North Morton Avenue. Appeal meeting with Catania, single service, PennDOT and SEPTA is scheduled for next Friday, 4/19 at 10 a.m. And then the following grant funding is available. So we're looking at the PennDOT Automated Red Light Enforcement ARLE program, pre-scoping, which is due April 30th. The DCED multi-model transportation fund, the MTF, which closes on 7/30. And then the PennDOT Green Light Go GLG program, which opens in the fall of 2024. And I don't know if you have any more information regarding, I know we were talking about going with, making sure that we hit the deadline for the PennDOT one, the first one.
Meeting that's set up for next Friday will be, it's important because in order to be able to develop a scope of work and a cost estimate for the traffic signal upgrades, we need to understand what the requirements that SEPTA is going to need for the coordination of the rail crossing with the traffic signal. So that can vary widely. So we'll set up this meeting for next Friday until we get it ironed out, ready to submit a pre-scoping meeting for the RLE grant by the deadline.
Thank you very much. That's all that I have. Kevin.
Council Johnson, before you move on to the next committee, the work over DCIU, they estimate that to be about a $2.5 million project for the warehouse structure that's being built. We just wanted to bring the council's attention that permitting fees will be approximately $100,000, which the borough would be receiving half of that, and the other half would be Catania doing the inspection work. So, yeah, it's an additional $50,000 that would be unbudgeted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Finance and Administration. Council Vice President Bernice Sanders.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Before I give my report, I wanna, openly, apologize to Councilwoman Michelle Miller, for openly rebuke her at our last meeting. I openly did it in the meeting, so I'm apologizing in this meeting.
Thank you,
Um,
Mrs. Dickerson.
And I just want everybody to know that the concerns, but you know, we're all passionate about our positions here, what we're doing for the borough. So that's my apology to her. And going into my meeting. All right, the tax collector's report, Mr. Stewart, would you read that, please? Because I'm looking, I don't see disbursement.
Sure, the tax collector for the month of March collected $819,446.70. In discussions with Kristen, that's probably about 93% of everything that she's gonna collect. So based on historical data, you know, we may see another $150,000 coming in, but for the most part, you know, this is gonna be the balance of all the taxes collected this year.
Could you, talk on how it was underestimated, how much taxes was going to be collected? We had like I think it was 162. Once you redid the calculation. Expected.
I believe budgeted, we've got about $1.2 million that we were expecting to be collected. So far this year, we collected $1,020,440 according to the cash flow chart. So that's gonna leave about $180,000 left to collect.
Thank you. Treasury report, Mrs. Lee. Oh, before you give the report, I want everybody to know, we did not get it up on the, website, but we are looking for a treasurer for Morton Borough. If you're interested, please get your information into the borough, to the borough manager, so we can look at it and everything. That person must be bonded. So they need to understand that when we come in. Thank you. But a job description will be put out and everything. Again, we've been asking, so that should be put up. Thank you. Sure, Mr. Stewart.
So for the month ending 31st of March 2024, ending balances in our general account is $740,141. The trash billing, that's basically a dormant account when we make a selection of who we're going to go with the banking services. That's an account that will actually be closed since Muta billing in 2023 shifted to a one bill or one page report. So the trash and sewer are on the same bill. So trash and sewer billing is $9,473. In the sewer fund, we have $185,386. The highway fund, we have $102,373. In the payroll account, $93.53. In the capital reserves, $62,563. And in the tax collector account, there's $119,000, $119,530. Typically, Marty will take that money and we'll transfer it into the general account. We just have not had that opportunity. It'll be this coming Friday. And then finally in Citadel, we have $94,500 in this Citadel account.
Thank you. And to go into our next disbursements journal, and I haven't found my disbursement journal. That's why I was asking.
It's right behind the treasury report.
Behind the what?
Behind the treasury report, behind the cash flow.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Now, it was that. What is it? But everybody has the disbursement.
Yes.
And if you have any questions?
No.
on that? All right, thank you. All right, the RFP going on is for RFP for municipal vacancy services. We are in the process of reviewing proposals. We got two banks that say they were no longer doing the municipal services, and we got two that are willing and put in proposal for it. Mr. Stewart, can you go into a little detail about the two banks? You sent the proposals.
So when it comes to municipal banking, or as they call it in the industry, treasury services, we did receive 2 responses back from our RFP that was that banks would be willing to continue to underwrite Morton Borough as a banking customer. Whereas, most banks, if you've got a personal checking account or savings account, they'll charge you a monthly fee that is part of them holding onto your money. On our side of the aisle, municipal services, there are absolutely no fees. It just boils down to the interest rate that they're willing to pay. Republic Bank has come back quoting 4.26% on an interest rate. So to put that into perspective, right now, today we're receiving 1.26% from Republic Bank. So they're shifting up 3 points essentially because of the fact that we put out the RFP. The other banking institution that reached out or that submitted a proposal was WSFS. WSFS was 3.75%. So it's just a matter of council's pleasure of who they would like to go with. We don't necessarily have to chase the interest rate, although there are certain inherent advantages of continuing our relationship with Republic. One being that we don't have to reorder checks. We don't have to go through the process of redoing signature cards. We've got a fair amount of supply of checks that are currently on hand. And then, Republic is obviously, because of the interest rate that they've given, they value our business and they would like to see us stay.
How much is their stock currently valued?
I don't know their current value of the stock. What I can tell you is, and I did have a conversation with the regional manager this afternoon on the way in from Republic Bank. They're not going to hide from the fact that they, were a few months ago in some financial instability. What she did share with me, number one, is they've had a complete change of their board of directors. They have shifted where some of their holdings are. They are in found financial shape. They have over 50 municipalities that they deal with in the Delaware and Chester County area. So all things go. And then lastly is that all of our money is already collateralized, so that in the event that there is a bank collapse, the municipality is guaranteed to get 100% of our money back.
And with us, how many municipalities do they handle? Did you get those numbers by any chance from them? I mean, just curious.
WSFS has a fair amount of municipalities. Most of their business is in Delaware. So they do a lot of work with the state of Delaware and all of the different towns and municipalities in Delaware. He did not give me an exact number, but they are very interested in municipal banking, obviously, other than giving us a proposal.
Yeah, did they take over Beneficial?
I don't believe Beneficial. I think they took over.
Charles is nodding his head.
Trust.
They were beneficial at their
They
place
do
before.
Beneficial too. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
they did do Beneficial.
And they are closer than the Republic Bank, just for our own convenience, because they're just on the pike. But there's lots of things to take into consideration. Thank you.
Can I ask, if you could enlighten us, what were some of the things that we didn't like about Republic that we're now going out and looking for other banks?
I think it boiled down to the interest rate.
Okay.
That was what Mr. Boylan, Councilor Boylan was chasing the interest rate when we went to Citadel. We're getting 4.25% from Citadel.
There were some silly things that happened
Right.
during COVID about them being closed and not posting it. But I mean, that was during COVID when things were a little crazy. That it was very odd. I know Marty got a lot of phone calls from people trying to pay their bills. Anyway.
Mrs. Clerk, can you remind everybody the two banks that declined our own proposal? It was Sharon and
Yeah, I received a phone call from Sharon Bank, and Sharon basically said they are no longer writing municipalities. And then I did receive an email back from
PNC?
Citizens Bank.
Mhm.
And, Citizens Bank's model is driven on a lot of fees.
Mhm.
And they said municipalities typically don't like to pay fees.
Mhm.
And that they just did not think they would be competitive with the members of the bank institutions we had on the short list. So they declined to submit.
And PNC never sent the proposal.
No response from PNC, no response from Santander.
So, you know, we did send it after 5 days.
Well,
Thank
there's
you.
8 total on the list,
Mhm.
so Chase. And, Chase Bank, Santander Bank,
What's this?
yeah, I think there's seven or eight altogether that we
Okay.
hand delivered the
Mhm.
proposals to, and they had plenty of time.
I get it.
Gave them about 6 weeks to get a proposal into us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, the next on my agenda is the hiring, and I'm gonna turn that over to the president to see
Yeah.
the hiring of the discussion.
So we did, look for a second, we identified somebody. And we did, kind of agree that we thought, we found someone and he was the best fit. So we are looking to bring on another, full-time employee, along with Mr. Fox, William, if you will.
Checks and everything will have to be done with this guy, criminal checks, police checks. And just so you know, we had 5 people set up the interview, only 2 showed up. After all.
And the second guy was strong, and we had two great guys, so, and I think we feel pretty confident with what we chose.
Thank you. All right, and just a reminder that our second quarter sewer bills will be mailed out, excuse me, on May 1st, 2024. And that ends my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on to public safety, I'm gonna turn over the police report to our chief there.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The April meeting, police report. Since our last police report, March 13th meeting, the police department had 1 part-1 crime, which was a domestic related assault. The arrest was made and the victim was connected with domestic violence services related to that incident. After a 2-month evaluation period and a department-wide staff meeting with the officers to discuss goals and objectives. One of our objective is related to reducing crime, and specifically reducing retail thefts by 20%, which would equate to 6 incidents. The statistics that we used were based on March 19th of 23 to December 31st of 23. The statistics were drawn from this time period, as this is the same time period this year, which we'll be measuring our progress. So that would be after the 2-month evaluation period from when I got hired until March 19th. And looking at the statistics, we had 31 of our 40 thefts were retail thefts for 77.5%, and 29 of those 40 thefts, so 29 of the 31 retail thefts were at the Kohl's. So 72.5% of all of our thefts in the borough last year, from March 19th to December 31st, were at the Kohl's shopping center. Our action step is increasing our business checks, where officers will conduct a walkthrough at least twice a shift at varying times. So far this year, we've had 0 thefts from March 19th of 24 to April 24, compared to 4 thefts during that same time period last year. There's a 400% reduction in retail thefts during this reporting period. Our building checks have increased in this past month from 195 to 227. Second objective is not related to reducing crime, but reducing accidents. So last year we had, and that would be by 20%, which would equal 20 accidents. So last year we had 104 accidents from March 19th of 23 to December 31st of 23. I broke those down by highest volume areas. The 2 highest volume areas were 36 incidents for 34.6% that took place on Baltimore Pike Corridor. We had 12 incidents for 11.5% that took place on the Kedron Ave corridor, And that's not counting any minor incidents that took place inside the Wawa parking lot. There were 3 or 4 that took place there last year. Officers were also provided additional information about times of accidents for our enforcement efforts. That way the officers are in those areas at specific times related to when our actual accidents are taking place when we start data. The officers have instruction to conduct traffic enforcement in these high visibility locations, as well as addressing resident concerns about stop sign and aggressive driving violations throughout the borough. From March 19th, 24 to April 8th of 24, we've had 3 accidents. On the statistics, which I've also added into the police report, it will show that there's been 7 accidents since our last council meeting. But 4 of those accidents took place before the staff meeting, and which I addressed the specific areas where we wanted to have officers focusing. There's been a 57% reduction in accidents for this reporting period. Officers have conducted 110 traffic checks monitoring an area for violations. They've written 53 citations and given 42 warnings at traffic stops. So the reductions both in the retail theft as well as the accidents, I credit the officers' efforts in following the plan and thus realizing the significant reductions that we've had in this first month alone. I've also been in touch with PennDOT. So part of the issue with the accidents on Baltimore Pike seems to be speed related, but we don't have any lines on Baltimore Pike for speed enforcement for us to use the stopwatch to clock people for speed. So I've been in touch with PennDOT about, because it's a state road, and they're gonna be putting some lines on there for us, but they can't get to a time frame for us yet. That is my police report.
Thank you, Chief Owens. All right, for the fire report for March 2024, company responded to 26 incidents, total response personnel 167, a high response of 10. Company was in service for 28 hours and 55 minutes. Personnel hours were 217 and 5 minutes, and an average response of 6.5. Incidents consisted of 1 medical assist, 8 automatic fire alarms, 2 oil spills, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 3 cover to Springfield Department, 1 to Darby Township, 4 building fires, 4 carbon monoxide alarms, 1 vehicle, and 1 assist to police, 15 assists to other fire companies. The company had 5 details for 20 hours and 30 minutes, attended by 46 members for 116 personnel hours. The company had 5 training drills for 11 hours and 30 minutes, attended by 61 members for 140 personnel hours. 6 district duty engine, 3 duty engine assignments for 12 hours, attended by 27 personnel for 108 personnel hours. 35 hours of engineering for monthly maintenance and repairs. 3 personnels are taking EMT training. Hours this month equal 56 hours for 156 man hours. And that report was given by Donald Holstein.
Madam President, can I ask that the borough did receive the financial report for the firehouse? So we do have it on hand. It's completed. They had promised us to have it by this meeting, and I do that. Thank you.
Alrighty. And for the fire marshal report for the month of March 2024, there were 0 fire investigations. And since we have okay, so yeah, so since I believe Rufus was out, the Swarthmore Fire Marshal was covering any of our fire investigations. And that's it from my report. Moving on to public health and sanitation and recycling, Councilor Michelle Roberts.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
At the back of your packet, you will find the very last 2 pages. You'll find the 2024 recycling report for the borough. And if we look at March,
Yeah, so the March numbers are not in yet.
Right.
We didn't get them being able to proposal. I'll make sure that I update the calendar or the chart for March and April.
okay, because I was just going to let everyone know, it says to be determined. So there is no dates for as the tonnage or recycling ton information. So hopefully, like you said, next month we'll have them. Or the next meeting possibly?
We'll have it the next meeting.
All right. Yeah, only thing we have is the 28.69% diverted from the landfill. Yay, so we did something. Also, the backyard composting program, the Pennsylvania Resource Council, which is scheduled for 4/30/24, which is a Tuesday at 6 p.m. here in the Borough. If you want to come, you must pre-register. The very last page in your package. It's some detailed information. And I'll be brief in reading it. Summary. The PRC is presenting a free backyard composting workshop on April 30th at 6 p.m. to 7:30 here at Morton Borough. And you will receive, the first 30 registers will receive the compost bins will be provided and a limit 1 rain barrel per household.
Well, one composting.
One
Yeah.
composting bin,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it says
Oh, I'm
limit
sorry.
1 rain barrel.
Oh,
Excuse
sorry.
me,
I'm sorry.
Excuse
I
me.
was looking right
if
above
I
it.
can give the report without my counterpart. Excuse me. All right, and I'll read this event description. PRC is presenting a free composting workshop on Tuesday, April 30th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. here at the Morton Borough. This workshop thoroughly covers the importance and the benefits of composting, the process, setting up a composting pile, proper maintenance, and ways of using finished composting. Registrants will receive a free 82-gallon composting bin, 1 per household, and this workshop is free, but registration is required. So if anyone's out there interested as we prepare for our spring season, as we all are inviting and welcoming the warm weather, and we're all trying to make our yards look great, here's an opportunity to come out and learn some tips to help you with your yard work. Also, I want to bring to your attention on April the 27th at the Springfield Mall parking lot, not in the front of the parking lot, in the rear, in the back, our state representative, Jennifer Romero, will be hosting, and with Senator Kearney, will be hosting a shredding event, and that's from 9 to 12. And it's a shredding event, and you're allowed to bring 4 personal documents, 4 boxes, okay? 4 boxes of personal documents, only per person. And they also are doing an e-waste. So here's an opportunity for all the people that put the TVs out on the curb. Here's your opportunity. It's free to you. All you have to do is register. So you can call this number, 610-544-9878 to sign up. You must sign up. So if you're out there, and I know you put them TVs on the curb, so please register. Here's your opportunity to clean your house. I could not make my report without.
I just want to say on the composting, they don't have the email address on here to register. So you want to hit the Pennsylvania Resource Council and go to Eastern Pennsylvania, and it's there. And you can register 2 people on 2 households on one thing. That's not on here. Thank you, Mrs. Roberts.
Okay.
Council Roberts' email address is on the agenda.
Yes, it is.
If you say about the-
It is on their agenda, correct.
Good, thank you.
All right.
It is a little cumbersome and long. If you do a Google search with PRC composting websites, it'll come up to the right page. You scroll all the way to the bottom. It'll say composting websites in Western PA or Eastern PA.
Correct.
We are Eastern PA, and then we're the second tab in. It just says click here to register.
Thank you very much for that information. Also, as we are preparing for, in April, we always have Earth Day. So I would like to proceed with trying to do a cleanup here in Morton. So I'm open for suggestions. If there's, I'm going to propose by our next meeting, which is after Earth Day, which is April the 24th. I know that I need to go forward and do something. And as I said, we have to lead by example. So I'm going to put forth a cleanup day here in the Borough of Morton. I will be looking for residents to get involved. I would encourage, this is just me, that maybe there would be one resident on each street that be willing to challenge their other residents to come up and let's clean up our neighborhoods. Not everybody has trash on their street, but if you're willing, this is something I think we all can do. And like I said, we all can take time to do something about where we live at, the community that we live in, and just take pride in what's around us. So like I said, I like to propose that, and I will give everybody the follow-up date, and it will be on a Saturday morning. And tentatively, I won't say 9 o'clock, I'll go at 10 o'clock, but I will follow up and give you the dates and the times. Once again, it will be from here, but I want to encourage people, like I said, all of us live on a different street. So those people that are block captains, here's your opportunity to put your mouth and your legs and your arms to work. Also, I want to make everybody aware that we have an upcoming public health and sanitation meeting, which that is in May 14th. Okay? And that would end my report. Yep.
All right. All right, moving on to law and ordinance, Counselor Michelle Miller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The, first thing we'll bring up right here is the parking issues on, I'll talk about Silver Lake first. Chief, do you want to touch on that a little bit from our conversation? Or do we really have anything to report as yet?
My last conversation with you is that you were gonna be with the committee to discuss options.
No, that's not till May.
And I was going to review ordinance.
Okay.
That resolve an issue that we're having out there.
Okay, well, unfortunately, the committee is not scheduled till May, which I guess isn't that far off, but I like to get things done as quickly as possible, but that's fine. And then with Country Lane, we've had a comment made that one of the postmen said that I think it might have been under the old postmaster, I'm not sure, but that they could walk and deliver the mail. We'd have to go through the postal service and see if that's true, because the postmaster did not give me that impression. And if we can't get the people to not park in front of the mailboxes, I'm not quite sure what to do, since parking's such a problem over there, without getting all sorts of people riled up. But if people aren't getting their mail, they should be riled up. So again, if anyone has suggestions for what, some ideas, since we won't have actually a committee meeting till May, we can talk to the postmaster again in the meantime. And then we voted last week to have the dog leash ordinance advertised. And now that this has been brought up by Mr. Lillycrap about whether or not there is adequate notices in the ordinances and all about picking up doggy poop, to put it nicely. So Mr.
Yeah, Mr.
Ewald,
Lillycrap raised in public comment, also by email to the borough, that he felt that it would be helpful to add to this ordinance amendment some language that required and set up a penalty in the event that people were not to pick up after their dogs. And that being a fair and reasonable recommendation, I wanted to just bring that to council and see if they were willing to have me add that to the ordinance before we actually prepare to vote on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
if you don't feel what's already they pointed out to you in some of the ordinances, which it's questionable.
There
What's
is no
already there.
direct prohibition.
Yeah, okay, well, there was things about picking up waste, but not specifically about that. Then we should do it. I'm surprised it wasn't in there before.
Okay, so I'll prepare that and
Thank you.
add that to your.
And if no one has any further questions or comments, that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Community and Economic Development, Council Dozier.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just a couple of quick updates. The comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance. Bergman will be delivering the final report in the spring/summer of 2024. Hopefully it's earlier. But they're gonna deliver something coming up here soon in the next few months. So we have to wait on that. And kind of to piggyback on that, the transit oriented development program was submitted on March 28th, 2024. So we will wait to hear any updates on that. And as far as the website and the social media upgrades, Mr. Stewart, do we have any updates on that you want to report on?
No, I've got a conference call early next week and we'll get an update then, but they are looking for council members to provide just a very short bio so that they would be able to include that on the page.
Okay, and then so we should council should just send you an email with their bio. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing super fancy, you know, 3 or 4 sentences.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, and one other quick update. We are trying to lock down some of the dates that we'll have for some of the public events that'll be sponsored by the borough, like the movie night and Juneteenth and things like that. Once we get those dates solidified, we'll probably be putting the event out on Facebook or something just to let people know that it is happening. And then we'll meet and, get things set up from there. So we're going to kind of start rolling the ball on that. So if you do have any events that you think the Morton Borough would be interested in having or hosting or something or anything, please feel free to reach out to me and we can go from there. Okay, that's it for me. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Council Walter Stubbs.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm gonna turn to my brother again as always until he finally teaches me the whole phrase and sayings. But Mr. Stewart, would you explain exactly to where we are at as Park and Recreation? And then from that, the painting, the picture, do we have?
Painting.
Yeah.
My pleasure, Counselor, is that, as the council is aware, we received the Delco Greenways Round 4 grant for $180,000. This is a 0 match. So we are certainly spending the county's money to complete the work. This deals with the community forest at Sycamore Woods and Jacobs Park. To date, we've spent $7,400. That was just we got the winter storm that knocked a lot of the ash tree down in Sycamore, so we were able to hire Strober Tree to come in, take any of the hazardous trees down, and then also do a cleanup of all of the ground cover in the preparation for amazing goats to come in and eat all of the ground cover. The contracts have arrived. I've signed and sent the contracts back. And the date that they will be arriving is the 6th of May. It's actually going to be 2 or 3 days worth of the company coming in and installing the low voltage electrical fence around Sycamore. And the goats should be here by midweek. So 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10. May 9th, May 10th is when the herd will actually arrive. I'll peek around the A-frame and see if Mayor Havoc is up to welcoming the goats on the 11th of May. Maybe something along the lines of presenting them the key to the borough. So maybe an edible key to the borough. They will be here for at least 6 to 8 weeks. We're estimating that by the time they get to Spark, it'll be every bit of the end of June, maybe even the beginning of July before they finish grazing everything. So we're actually going to be the first municipality or first project on their schedule. So they should be off of a good, fresh, winter's hibernation and the gentleman who owns Amazing Grazing is very excited to come here to Morton Borough for the time. We just recently submitted on the 3rd of April, the BCNR Park Development and Revitalization. And that deals with what you had referred to as the master plan. So Catania Engineering has developed a conceptual plan, and I emphasize the word conceptual because nothing is necessarily written in stone. But we did have an opportunity to review the master plan at your meeting on the first Wednesday of March. That is the project that has a 50% match, and the estimate that we gave the DCNR folks was $556,000. What that would include is we are requesting to replace the picnic tables and the grills in the picnic grove. The spider or octopus climber that is probably dated back into the 70s or early 80s, that would be removed and upgraded with a new playset apparatus. The basketball court would be resurfaced with a rubberized surface, and the posts and the backboards would be replaced. The seating area and the bleachers would be replaced, and we are also looking to loop in the walking trail so that it creates what we're shooting for is about 1/5 of a mile, so that, you know, anybody that is a walker or a runner would be able to have a measured loop around the track, and then also increase the parking along Harding.
Mr. Stewart, do you have the conceptual plan we asked you to bring, so as you were talking about it, people.
I'll leave it up on the table, and then at the end of the meeting, everybody can come up and take a look if that's.
Can we tape to the back of wall so that the community can see it as well?
That leads into these DCED has a grant program called Greenways Trails and Recreation. The GTRP probably is familiar to you, Mr. Stubbs, because that was when we did the very first revitalization of Jacobs Park. So what we're looking to do on that particular project, and it's got a $250,000 max with a 15% match, is to add the other elements of the master plan that were not captured in the DCNR submittal. So that those could include, and again, these conceptual plans, it could include either an amphitheater or a fitness court, or what am I reaching towards? Oh, a building that would provide outdoor facilities. So instead of having to bring in a porta potty when we have these events throughout the spring and summer and fall, you would have a permanent bathroom facility. So these are the things that we're looking to do to improve Jacobs Park.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. I also like to mention the fact that
Yeah.
Broomall Fire Company, every year, they have a summer playground park where they have roller coasters, they have Ferris wheels, they have
Talking about carnival?
carnival, right? And I'm getting the impression, I haven't measured, but I believe Jacobs Field is the same footage that they have it behind the Broomall Fire Company. I will be reaching out to Broomall Fire Company to get who to contact and see what kind of fundraisers it can create. I'm all about fundraisers to improve the community of Morton. I'm about fundraisers to, I mean, if you're looking at the sports, you see the young ladies are refereeing NFL, they're refereeing NBA games. I want to be able to do that, to reach out to the neighborhoods and teach them young people. So when it comes to the opportunity, they can be out there on behalf of Morton. I want to also reach out to the community. I have a lot of common sense commercials where you see 13 cents a day to help save these dogs. So they want 19 cents a month or something. I'm going to reach out to the public of Morton
and asked for $3.65 a year that they would donate to Park and Recreation, because we need that funds to come in to help their children, their grandchildren, to learn how to slam dunk, to learn how to hit a fastball, to learn how to pitch. This community of Morton got too many good people, too many good young athletes that will need our edging, will need our pushing, will need our directions. So Park and Recreation, I'm speaking out to the public. I hope there's Zoom. I'm hoping the businesses hear me. This community, if you ride around Delaware County and look at all the other apparatuses and all these other parks and stuff, we look bad.
Yeah.
We look bad. So I'm about trying to reach for $3.65 a year from 105 businesses, and even maybe from all our residents. That money will add up. That money can be placed in the bank accounts. So let's do that. If not, I don't know how we're gonna do it.
Are you looking to do a carnival as a borough sponsored function, or is that something you would like to do in conjunction with the firehouse?
Whatever makes the contribution, whatever puts funds back into the community. I will sit down and talk with, even like the police department. I wanted a ball game between the fire department and the police department, a softball game. You know what I mean? Just so the community can see that the police department and our fire department are community activists. So we'll have to see. Any questions?
No, I just make one comment. Mr. Stubbs, you do have some valid points, and I commend you for always at every meeting trying to push and give a vision to our youth. But I just wanted to recall that I know as a youth growing up here in this community that we did have a carnival at Jacobs Park, and it was a success. So I just wanted to let you know that there was a possibility that we can bring that here.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
It is a great idea. And there's one thing you're gonna remember is your vision every time we sit down. It's one thing, we can count on that, and I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right, on to
Thank you,
the
Brother Stewart.
mayor's report.
I'll make this brief. The Morton Rutledge Fire Company has a Pasta with a Purpose event this Sunday, I believe. I'm looking at it now. 4 o'clock in the evening to 7 p.m. The cost is $12 in advance, 15 at the door. And that includes, well, I'll just read it. It states, take a break from cooking and come enjoy a buffet style dinner of pasta, meatballs, and sausage with Morton Rutledge Fire Company's own Carmen of Captain Mike's Catering. Salad and drinks included with your meal. To-go meals available. And I'll have it printed and put out on the bulletin board. Other than that, I will remind everyone, and I expect maybe a couple of rooms, the primary election is the 23rd, so we have roughly about 2 weeks. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Stewart, do you have your manager's report?
In the interest of time, and the fact that I am trying to suck on some throat lozenges, I will yield to the council.
All right. On to action items. Our first motion to approve the disbursements journal for March 2024. All in favor?
No,
Me first.
Oh, I'm sorry, first.
So moved.
So you got me rushing now.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any rejecting? No, all right. Moving on. Do I have a motion to approve the award of the banking services for RFP?
To Republic.
To Republic?
Republic.
Yeah. Republic? Okay. Can I get a vote? Motion?
Say it again.
Oh, okay, sorry. To approve the award of Republic for the banking services.
So moved.
All in favor?
Give me a second.
Yeah, second, yeah. Nobody?
Give me a second.
You got the set? Did I hear a second?
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any rejection?
I'd rather look into it more. So,
So
yeah.
no, okay.
Mhm.
So
Whatever.
6-1.
Mhm.
Alright. So motion approved. Awesome. Alrighty. On to our upcoming meetings and events. Our next council agenda meeting will be April 24th, 2024 at 7 p.m. May 6th, 2024 is all day Amazing Grazing Goats. They will be arriving at Sycamore and Jacobs Park. May 8th at 7 p.m. we have a regular council meeting. May 9th at 6 p.m. would be our public facilities and infrastructure meeting. May 9th at 7 p.m. would be finance and administration. And May 9th at 8 p.m. will be community and economic development. May 14th, 2024 at 6 p.m. will be our public safety meeting, followed by law and ordinance at 7 p.m. And followed by that will be our public health and sanitation at 8 p.m. May 22nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. will be our next council agenda meeting. Alrighty, moving on to open discussion. Looks like.
There were two little things I wanted to mention,
Oh, go ahead.
if I may. First of all, we talked about the PICO giving us new account numbers at the beginning of the year. I got a call from a resident who heard that there is a scam going on, that someone is calling saying they're from PICO. They're trying to get your debit numbers, your checking account or whatever. PICO never calls you from a live person. If you're behind on your bill, they call you with a robocall. So I wanted to just make that comment to anybody, if heaven forbid you get a call like that. But also I wanted to mention the cheerleaders who rent our space here the last 2 years were in Ocean City, Maryland for the East Coast big to do this last weekend, big national competition. And they came in first place in all their divisions. And the junior girls actually were the highest scorers in the whole thing. And so they not only got kudos and their enormous trophy, but they'll get some special rings for it. So
So
all
they
the
were
hard
grand
work.
champions.
Yeah.
Grand champions.
So
They
all
did
the hard work they've been putting in here, and maybe a little bit of noise we've had to put up now and then is well worth it to see that. I think there were 78 girls in the program this year from Morton and Springfield. So rah rah for them.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna move on to open discussion now. Mr. Lee, you are first.
Thank you, Madam President. Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, United States of America. Madam President, I'm not from the state of Missouri. Is known as the Show Me State. I'm not from Missouri, but I'm the type of person who needs to be shown. I've been burned too many times in my life by taking people at face value at their word. I could truthfully say I've never had that experience with anybody on this council or on previous councils. But Madam President, the allegation has been made quite a few times since the organization meeting of January 2nd, 2024, that you inherited a mess. I believe it would be in my best interest and also the interest of the residents of Morton who are interested to have a report compiled with all source documents and attachments verifying that claim, a report that would stand up under scrutiny in any court in this land, from the lowest traffic court in Hart's location, New Hampshire, up to those distinguished gentlemen and women down there in Washington, D.C. I need to be shown. That doesn't necessarily mean that I would believe it, but at least a report would be available for anyone who's interested. I even learned the hard way as a child. The biggest lie any parent can tell a child is it's for your own good, or this is for your own good. This is in your best interest. I learned the hard way. I was lied to. Trust me, I was lied to. So, and I'm not accusing anybody of that, but I need to be shown a report. and not just myself, anybody, and any resident of Morton who's interested should be able to read such a report. At least it'll be out there. Whether they believe you or not, it's up to them, but at least you would be stating your case. So with that being said, thank you for listening. Good night. May God bless all of you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Ms. Todd?
Cecilia Todd, 110 Althea Lane. I was wondering if council, now that you've selected to do business with Republic Bank, will there be a transfer of the funds from the general fund to Citadel? Are we going to be able to collect interest from Citadel?
Madam President, it's the intent to move all of the municipalities' money to Republic Bank. That was the understanding in the RFP, and that's the reason why Republic Bank was able to offer us the interest rate that they did.
Okay, that's clear understanding. Respectfully, Mr. Lee, I don't agree with your statement just a few minutes ago. I honestly believe that there was a mess left for this council, and if they took the time to write down everything that they have to look into, they wouldn't get anything done.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Whitcraft? You're good? You good to go? All right. Bruce Wagner.
Good evening, Bruce Wagner, 124 West Sylvan Avenue. For a while now, and I think also just recently, there's been discussion about traffic calming devices possibly put on some of the roads throughout the neighborhoods. And that would be fine if people in those neighborhoods like that. But I would like to draw to your attention that we already have traffic calming devices. They're mobile traffic calming devices. They're called police and police cars. And guess what? They work damn well because they've been over my neighborhood and they're doing a great job. So thank you, Chief, and the neighbors on my street also thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Oh, my tax money well spent.
Yay.
Jackie Guy.
Jackie Guy, 635 Country Lane. So it's been about a year now that the basin was completed, say about a year. And I've been walking the woods back there for 22 years, I'm sorry. Moved in 2002, so for 22 years. And back then it was more like marshland. And over the years, because the basin had eroded, it just became this dry land with no wildlife. I mean, there was wildlife back there, but it was different. You know, it was like a lot more mud and a lot more mosquitoes. So last weekend, I went back and I walked the land, and the amount of water that is now able to flow because the basin is completed has completely changed the landscape back there. I'm seeing more waterfowl. I saw stalks. I saw the herons are back. And so I'm just seeing this abundance of life, even though I've always seen the fox and I've always seen the deer and the raccoon. Hey. I like it. But yeah, just to see that just the whole diversity is coming back the way that it used to be like 18, 19 years ago. So I believe that, you know, that the basin definitely did what it needed to do, because now I'd say I was standing in places that I knew I could have walked really far out before, and now I can't. And that's all slowly being reclaimed back to what it was. So it's actually doing a really good job.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Hefner.
So after 571 South Old Middletown Road, Media. In regards to the contract that you agreed to with Republic, is the interest rate guaranteed for the entire year?
Yes.
Okay. And then all the money listed under Republic, whenever that contract is signed, all the different accounts will earn that rate of interest, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I have one other question. The firehouse financial report, will that be available in the office?
Yes,
And is it available this week or?
yes.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Esther, looks like you have.
Yeah. Thank you. Bear with me for a moment to set up. All right, I'm Esther Gilliard from 18 Walnut Street, Morton, VA. And anyone knows me as Miss Pennsylvania. Today we had an event. There was for the disabled, disability and inclusion at the look at my notes. At the intermittent media unit out here.
DCIU,
Yeah.
whatever they call it. There you go.
And we had a huge turnout. They had a huge turnout. I represented the National Federation of the Blind. The reason why I wanted to come here and talk to you guys is because I think it's imperative to have event in Morton, in Borough Council Hall, with all of you guys to try to bring some resources to Morton. Especially since they having more events out there, especially with Jennifer O'Meara and Congresswoman Mary Gansgalley, who is representing a bunch of bills that deals with accessibility. I think you guys would be beneficial by having these events here so that the public is aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Maybe that's something you can link up and do together.
Yeah.
Of course,
and
we would all be willing to help, but
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I definitely need contact so I can be able to talk with you guys so we can move this forward sometime this year.
great, thank you, absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have something to present.
Pass along, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, Chris, you're next.
Nelson, 1011 King Avenue. This one has been asked from all of, when can we meet as far as in terms of like, funds and help out, sponsorship or some, should we have enough funds that we can give up, not just from Borough, but also, I'm also asking, local businesses and also surrounding areas to help sponsor. Nothing I want to do, think about dedicating this event to bring it back to more some camp. You guys too. So yeah, again, more some jams will be on July 28th. If anybody wants to be a part of it, please let me know. I will definitely put the sign up sheet real soon for those who want to participate. And I also collaborated with Parks and Rec as well as for some kid programming that to join together as a community.
Yeah, so the summer rec is a little bit more work than just
Right.
involving you in the beginning. So once we actually start making moves on that, which I think there's a lot of interest, we can connect. As far as the summer jam, I would say before we meet, really work on your sponsors, like in your donations and things like that, because we allow you to use the field and everything, and we would start with that and then continue to try to fund the summer jam, because this is an event you're having and we do want to help, but I think you got to go after other sponsors as well, and then we can come together and see maybe where we can help you additionally, other than using the field and things like that.
We got like a couple sponsors already. We have State Farm, Morton branch that's already been sponsoring. We have other sponsors.
And do you have like a breakdown of exactly what you need and where the funds are going? Like, where are you coming up short? You know what I mean? You definitely would need to present that too, because I know last year I was able to come, and it was great. I know you had like singers and you had some food trucks and everything, which you shouldn't be paying for. That's a way for them to pull up and make their own money, right? But we would definitely, I mean, just to come to say, hey, can we give, for what? You know what I mean? Because like I said, I think we are willing to kind of help you, but you know, I know there's a lot more work that goes into it, so.
Yeah, and I would ask that you bring finances again, do a budget.
Yeah.
And actually break down, like you said, break it down in your categories. What funds have you raised? What's going on here? What is it going towards? So it's like coming to a proposal.
Well, I did give you guys a budget.
Yeah, but I want to see the actual breakdown, what you're doing, what you raised so far, and what are those funds going to? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. I think, is that it? No.
We have, one person online that, wanted to ask a question that I would like to ask during open discussion. Why was there a police officer cutting grass across my shop on duty today? I'm not sure what that's about.
Where's the shop?
That was a good friend of mine. Marvin Payne was in his yard. And he fell, and I believe he broke his leg. Our officer helped him out. The ambulance came, we had prayer, and he went to the hospital. I have not any more information on that, but our police officer was there doing what a neighbor does for
Absolutely.
an injured person here in the community. That's what that was. Marvin Payne.
That's what it's about. So whoever that officer was, thank you. Whoever the officer.
For council, that would be officer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sounds about right.
Great.
Great.
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard any more about, he was in pain. Like I said, as he was going to the ambulance, I had prayer for him. And then they took him and went on, and I haven't spoke to his family since then. Marvin's a strong young man.
It might be Tony, is he live on Walnut Street?
Yes.
Okay, it's probably Tony, Zippo, Zippy. Walnut.
All right. If that is it, meeting adjourned.
Motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm listening, guys. I'd be ready to go just as much as you want to go. No, I'm kidding. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Good night.
I'm